What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TP Ravens Media. It's Wednesday, so Joshua and I are going to be live streaming once again. And as always in these Wednesday live streams, what we like to do is just answer whatever questions you guys have going, into the middle of the week. I mean, there's injury questions at quarterback. We'll definitely have to talk some Tyler Huntley, but overall, any Ravens questions and things like that, we'll answer them. Lamar Jackson, it's up in the air. The Ravens brought in Josh Johnson. The Jets quarterback who played in a game this year and actually looked really good. I want to say it was the Colts game. He came in after White got injured, who was starting in that game, and he actually almost won the game for the Jets, almost came back and beat the Colts. But Joshua, what are your thoughts on kind of this whole Lamar Jackson injury situation and everything going on? Is Snoop QB1 this week? Like, do you think he's going to start?
Honestly, I mean, we found out that Lamar Jackson's day-to-day. We all know that, yes, it wasn't a high ankle sprain, but at the same time, it's still an ankle sprain, and right now, me personally, I'm not saying, for the rest of, Ravens football, we should be moving forward with Tyler Huntley. But for the rest of the season, we should be moving forward with Tyler Huntley. For the simple fact, I feel like we need to give Lamar Jackson the rest that he deserves. I'm not taking anything from Lamar. Lamar is always going to be my franchise QB, but right now, this has not been Lamar's first best season. It almost reminds me close to his rookie season. Granted, he did lead us to a playoffs. He did, make get us to 6-1. But at the same time, it's a lot of negatives going around. I know everybody can say, well, y'all 8-5, y'all still in the playoff hunt. But who wants to take this? You never know what type of team you're going to get into the playoffs right now. Me personally, I don't want to get knocked out in the first round. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to see my boys, get embarrassed or demolished. I know everybody want to bring up the I forgot when we played against last time we played against Green Bay, they had Brett Favre. I think the QB was Kyle Bowler at the time. I think we pulled out the win. I don't know. It was like Sunday night or Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football.
All in the all black jerseys. But you know what? At the same time, the Magic, I don't know if the Magic is going to strike again at 4:25 Sunday coming up. So I'd rather my QB get the rest that he deserves, sit down, and just come back stronger with the rest of the team.
I think that's an interesting idea. Just looking at it, I think if Lamar doesn't play this week, just because he's injured, the Ravens will have to look at it after this week. Do they want to bring him back for the rest of the year? Because the thing is, if they bring Lamar Jackson back, the Ravens are going to win a couple of games. If Lamar Jackson is the starting quarterback, that's just who he is. Like the Ravens have 4 remaining games on the schedule. They're most likely going to win. Probably. Now I'm blocked by this thing. But if the Ravens are able to start Lamar Jackson for the rest of the year, I think they win at least 2 games. That's just who Lamar Jackson is. Probably win 3. If they don't start that, they don't start Lamar against the Packers and they lose, that's 3 weeks remaining in the year against the Rams, the Bengals, and the Steelers. The Ravens at least win one of those, but 9 wins isn't going to make it to the playoffs. 10 wins most likely won't make it to the playoffs in the AFC. I'm a firm believer that you should play Lamar Jackson, even if he is a little bit banged up. I still think that the Ravens should still go and really try and make it to the playoffs and make that push, even if they don't have as much of a chance, because even though the team has been very inconsistent, I still feel like they have been in every game pretty much that they've played. And I think that that's something that will allow them to at least have a chance in a playoff game if they're able to play them and to make a postseason run. At least they can be in any game against any team, and I think that can really help this team out. So I still believe in starting Lamar Jackson, but like a lot of people have been like coming out and like saying, Lance Reyes brings up, like a lot of people have been hating on Lamar recently, which is very true. Like people were just waiting for him to get injured, and it wasn't like he made a risky play. Like he got tackled escaping the pocket out the back by an athletic Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I believe is the full pronunciation of his name. But Like it was just a great play by him, and unfortunately, he landed on Lamar a little bit awkwardly. But that happens to a lot of quarterbacks. So wasn't a dirty play or anything like that. Wasn't a bad play by anybody. It just unfortunately he got injured. But luckily it wasn't as serious an injury as it could have been. But with the Ravens bringing in more quarterbacks, it makes me a bit worried that he's not going to be able to play this week, because if Huntley is starting against the Green Bay Packers, that will be a very tough game to win.
Yeah, I mean, right now this Tyler Huntley reminds me of Willie Beamer. This is almost a any given Sunday type of style team that we have right now in this year's Ravens. And yes, it is exciting to see the comebacks, the resilience in this team. But at the same time, me personally, I get tired. I get tired of all the comebacks, and then you gotta, like I said, you put into effect penalties. I mean, last week, honestly, I don't feel like they let those guys play. You take away a touchdown from our rookie. You didn't call offensive pass interference. You literally called a defensive pass interference when my cornerback got wrapped around. It was just all over the place almost, and still that offensive line, it's just so atrocious. It's scary. I know everybody talks about how Tyler Huntley moves so quickly, but y'all had to understand, I'm about to say Jamar. Lamar, first year got thrown into the fire, 6-1. Okay, boom. 2019, they come out with an offense that nobody was ready for, that nobody couldn't defend. That's cool. He went MVP. Next year, they was kind of planning for it, but at the same time, they still wasn't ready for it. This year, you got hit by injuries. You got the chemistry with the running backs wasn't there. The offensive line, wasn't the best, stuff like that. And Lamar's playing a lot of hero ball, just trying to make a negative into a positive every game. And sometimes he does so much where it gets blindsided by the good and heroic plays that he has brought to this organization in the past 4 years. And me personally, it's like, yo, you done a lot for this organization. You don't have to prove it no more to me. Honestly, not this year. You don't. I know what you can do. I know what you can do. Like, this has been a tough year. I can understand if I was a quarterback like hell. And that game who did we play? We played the Steelers before we played the Browns. He was already and let's be honest. The Steelers game when he ran out of bounds and he hit that pole from the chain gang.
Yeah.
That already agitated his ankle. Come back out come back next Sunday. I know he try to, fight through it, warrior mentality. I respect that. I love that about him and everything. He knows how to put the team on his back. That's cool. But still, you keep on playing with those ailing injuries. Sometimes those things are going to get caught up with you. No, absolutely. Like everybody want to just write him off. Okay, he has a bad year. We act like some of the greatest quarterbacks never had a bad year. We act like Drew Brees never had a bad year. We act like Phillip Rivers never had a bad year. We act like Aaron Rodgers never had a bad year.
And a bad year for Lamar Jackson is the team is 8-5.
Literally.
And they're winning the division. Rodgers has had years where he doesn't make the playoffs. Brees wasn't making the playoffs. And it's not like, oh, you can look at it like, oh, well, the Ravens defense has been great this year. The Ravens defense hasn't been that good. Lamar Jackson has still been carrying this team. And I think that people are really undervaluing that. And I think he really wants to make the playoffs because, his goal is to win the Super Bowl. And Lamar's not going to sit out. And the Ravens aren't going to, keep him out unless they really believe that they need to. But he is going to try and compete. And if he's not able to play, I know he was probably pretty pissed about, he got sick and things like that and had to miss a game. He's mad about that. He doesn't want any of that stuff to happen. He was probably tried so hard to be able to play in that game. And the Ravens organization just said, you know what, we're going to let Snoop do this one. Luckily, got the win against the Chicago Bears. But the NFC North has all been very close games against the Ravens. Game winner against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
10-point comeback against the Minnesota Vikings. Tyler Huntley, game-winning drive against the Chicago Bears. We've got the Packers now in an arguable must-win game. I don't think it's technically a must-win. I think the must-wins are.
I feel like we could lose against the Packers, but the last three,
Then you
we
have to
win.
win 3 of the last
Yeah,
4. I think.
yeah.
So I think they have to either beat the Packers or the Rams. And they have to sweep the AFC North rivals. I think that's like the best way that they have it getting into the playoffs, and so it's basically a must-win. It's an almost must-win, and if it's Tyler Huntley, how confident are you that the Ravens can beat the Packers?
Honestly, I would say pretty confident. Tyler Huntley, he brings the same type of energy that Lamar brings. He's not the most accurate. He can show that he shows that he has the arm strength. We know that, of course, but at the same time, he reacts to what the defense does. He doesn't read the defense. So, when people be like, Tyler Huntley reads the defense better. No, he doesn't. His mind is actually going 200 miles per hour. When you see danger, okay, put it like this: if you see a dog getting ready to chase you down the street, what are you going to do immediately? Run the opposite way, correct? When Tyler Huntley sees a defender coming his way, what is he going to do? If he doesn't see his wide receivers, he's going to immediately get the hell out of there and try to get positive yards. And that's exactly what he does. He reacts. It is like his natural born instincts just kicks in, And Lamar Jackson right now this year, I would truly say, instead of reacting to the defense, he's been reading the defense. I mean, yeah, some quarterbacks have made it, but I forgot which quarterback is in the Hall of Fame or going to be in the Hall of Fame, but they didn't know what a cover 2 defense was, and they still made it happen. And I think he still plays in the league now, or it was either Peyton Manning. I could be wrong. But, either way, it's so many different ways to decipher, and play at your best. And right now, I want Lamar to play at his best. Like I said, if he wants to fight, by all means, I'm behind him. That's my dog. He's a soldier. I love him. I love him. I love what he brings to the table. I mean, hell, if you gave me a pair of pads and some cleats, I would get out there and make sure I block for him. I would hit every damn defensive lineman in their knees to make sure they know not to keep on coming back there. Like, you got to do something. You got to do certain things, to hold things up, because staying. I get scared for him standing in that pocket. It's like he just forced the issue too much. And right now, I want him just to relax and just relax and let the game come back to him. It's like he's not having fun right now. He's like he's just pressing the issue. And the more you
I
press
think
the
he's
issue,
not having fun because he's getting put on his back every play. And the play calls are not allowing players to get open. I think that's the difficulty is teammates aren't doing enough. Or I'm not going to say all of his teammates. Some of the teammates are playing amazing. Bradley Bozeman, Kevin Zeitler, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown. But the running backs, the tackles outside of Patrick McCary, who's now injured, not been good. And that, I think, is just really forcing him to no longer be allowed to just be himself, and it's forcing him to have to run and take so many more hits. And I think that's taken away a lot of the wow factor that we got, because no longer are we able to see those massive Lamar plays because they are focusing so much on him because nobody else is going to make those plays other than Lamar.
And of course, we have plays against cover 0 defense. We have all these plays, but nothing gets pulled out the vaults.
Yeah. I mean, the vault is unknown what's in the vault.
My rookie wide receiver went for 7 receptions and 103 yards last Sunday. You could have had a 100-yard game since he's been healthy to play. And we all can't blame it just on Lamar, and having his favorites. When Rashad Bateman's in there with Lamar Jackson, he does not have the efficient plays ran in order for him to really succeed with Lamar Jackson on the field. That's my opinion. Every time I see Rashad in the game with Lamar Jackson at the QB, it's always a cross or a hitch. It's never a 50-50 ball. It's never, really let him work out in space, hit a
Do you
piece.
think the Ravens look at last week and they say, hey, we can give Rashad Bateman these 50-50 balls after he I think very clearly proved that he is excellent in those situations?
If Nick Bull and Patrick Ricard is out for this Sunday, hell yeah. But if they're not, no. And that's sad that you have a fullback and a tight end that gets more emphasis in the offense versus, your playmaking rookie wide receiver. Something we've been asking for outside of Hollywood. Because Hollywood's really stepped into his own this year. I applaud him. I love what he's doing. I really, he's going to be the Lamar Jackson Hollywood duo is getting better every year, and you can tell. But that relationship and chemistry with Lamar and Rashad, wait till next year. Wait till next year. It's going to be special. Because I don't know what they're going to do. Because I don't see them signing Patrick Ricard back. Because he's going to get some big money somewhere.
Something that I'm very curious to see in this Packers game is how do the Packers defend against the Ravens wide receivers? The Packers have one cornerback that I think is absolutely terrible, Kevin King. I think he's garbage. However, they do have two players that are actually really solid at the position. They have Jair Alexander, probably a top 5 corner in the league, guaranteed top 10.
He played at Louisville, right?
Yes, went to Louisville.
Gotcha.
Absolute dog. Then they have a rookie, Eric Stokes, who I believe is out of Georgia. Very good player. And he has burners. I want to say he ran like a 4.27 40-yard dash. Jair also ran a very fast 40-yard dash. I wonder who's going to be covering who, because obviously they want the speed on Hollywood because Hollywood's very fast. But Hollywood's so much of a technician. I think that they're going to put Jair on Hollywood, which I think Hollywood has a slight speed advantage, which means we could get a rookie-on-rookie cornerback wide receiver matchup with great speed in Eric Stokes against Rashad Bateman and his athletic ability as well. I think that could actually be something that will be an absolute thing to watch, no matter who's playing quarterback. Watch the rookie-on-rookie.
That's Big Ten versus SEC.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. I like that matchup, actually, honestly. I like that.
That's something that the Ravens could really, because Rashad Bateman is a savvy route runner. He runs routes like a veteran. We saw him, do moves similar to, guys like DeAndre Hopkins, where it's like, oh, you stutter inside while the ball's in the air, freeze the defender. DeAndre Hopkins this year destroyed Eric Stokes doing that same thing. He ran a play. Kyler threw it up. He faked like he was going to catch the ball on the sideline. So Eric Stokes stops. He runs about 10 yards further and is just completely wide open because he just ran an incredible route and faked out Eric Stokes because he's a rookie. And Rashad Bateman luckily runs routes not like a rookie, runs it like a veteran that's been there for 10 years. So
it's definitely something to keep our eye out for. Like I said, we got to see how much playing time he gets. I mean, we also got to see, if Ricard and Bull will be active for this upcoming game, and I feel like those two are going to play a big portion, whether they're playing or not. So if they are playing, I don't feel like we're going to see Rashad a lot, but if they're not playing as much, I feel like we could see Rashad Bateman a lot more.
What do you think about Tony Jefferson, Joshua?
You know what? If you ask me, who do you want back out of Tony Jefferson, Eric Weddle, I'll take TJ. TJ is a savvy vet. He has that ability to create chaos. I love what he brings to the table. And also, the young guys can learn under him. I know he's just getting back to the Ravens. Maybe we can see him slide over to the strong. Geno Stone at the free. Chuck Clark come down. But hey, what do I know about defense? I'm just saying, maybe give that Chuck Clark in the box a little try next to Josh Bonds. So we gotta see what happens.
Yeah, and I think another big thing about the Ravens utilizing Tony Jefferson is if he's able to play, that means that the Ravens can put Chuck Clark or Tony Jefferson in the box and still have a veteran in the secondary alongside a Brandon Stevens or a Geno Stone, rather than having both of them back there where one of them, gets out of position because there's a lack of communication and things like that. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I see with the Tony Jefferson signing is just a lot of guys that are inexperienced, need that guy to look up to. Tony Jefferson is one of those types of players, and he's been in the organization. The organization really likes Tony Jefferson, and hopefully he can come back and do what he does in Baltimore. And he's also been decent at rushing the passer for the Ravens before and getting some sacks for us. So I think he could definitely come in, be that, linebacker, hybrid safety type player and really just be a motivational guy to really teach the young players the ropes.
And defense really needs a spark right now. Whether it comes from the front seven or secondary, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know, Marlon was that guy that always yelling and screaming and stuff like that, but you don't see the hype you don't see anyone giving the hype to that defense to really get them fired up and really get them going. And I feel like Tony Jefferson can be that type of guy. I mean, hell, I feel like even if Brandon Stevens would have caught that pick last week, I feel like that could have changed the tide. That could have changed the momentum, of that defense, of how they're feeling. Because what I saw a stat, Marlon Humphrey, I believe last year got 8 turnovers by himself. This team this year has only caused 7 turnovers. That's it's depressing. It hurts. It got me mind boggled. I don't even know what to really say about that. It just hurts my heart.
Yeah, and this team has been struggling with the turnovers, and luckily Odafe Oweh has provided a bit of a spark, but I mean, that's something that this team has been missing. No Marcus Peters is really going to hurt in the turnover department, and Marlon Humphrey relying on forced fumbles. I mean, he's just not been getting thrown the ball nearly enough for him to force fumbles because, teams don't want to throw at Marcus Peters because he'll get an interception. So they throw at Marlon Humphrey because Marlon's most likely not going to pick it. He may knock it loose, but it's more safe to throw at Marlon than it is Marcus. Chris, I absolutely think that he reminds me of Keenan Allen. That was my comparison when I first watched him. I did think Keenan Allen, and I love Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's one of the best route runners in the NFL, one of the best intermediate threats in the NFL. So I definitely think that Keenan Allen is a great comparison for him. Maybe a bit more athletic than Keenan Allen, but I think that's about it. But the route running ability, I do see a lot of similarities in how they run their routes.
Yeah, I definitely I would say Devontae Adams as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of Devontae Adams, I know it's Wednesday. How many touchdowns do you think he's going to have?
This week? Oh, no.
Oh,
3.
3? I respect that.
I would think 3 would be my guess because there's going to be so many he's going to be so open, so consistently. It's going to be so frustrating because he's so good and Rodgers is so good. Like,
they both know how to extend the plays. They got great chemistry.
Yeah, I legitimately think Rodgers to Adams, it may be the best quarterback to wide receiver duo in the history of the NFL, which is saying a lot because the greatest wide receiver of all time played with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. But I just think that Rodgers and Adams I think it's the best I've ever seen. I watched Brady and Moss. And I've watched a lot of film on Rice and Montana, and they were amazing. But the difficult part with Devontae Adams is that, Joe Montana, the way that he threw the ball, he was accurate. But Jerry Rice was wide open, right?
Yeah.
Even though Devontae Adams gets open a ton, he's the best route runner in the NFL, Rodgers is still making throws that maybe no other quarterback in the history of football can make. And then it's perfectly in line. So not only is it just, Devontae Adams can get open against anybody. Rodgers can put it into any window and consistently does it without throwing interceptions somehow. And that's why it's just so deadly to go against. And I'm so afraid to go against it because it's, man, Anthony Averett. Oh no. I mean, I'd be scared if it was Marlon as well, guys. Don't think that's me picking on Anthony Averett, like, no matter who it is.
I'd rather take my pick with I would be more relieved with Marcus Peters because I know Marcus Peters at least gonna get one interception out of that.
That's fair.
Man. Okay. I know everybody wants to see Rashad Bateman get the ball this upcoming week. Hey y'all, we not at the facility. It really comes down to that play calling from Greg Roman. All the plays out the vault. All the players gotta get these last 4 games. You want to make that last push to the playoffs, you gotta do everything in your power. I don't care what you guys show a team. At the end of the day, that team gotta beat me.
Yeah, and Heather brings up Rashad Bateman's hands. I mean, they're catching solid. Everything. It's terrific. Like, that's the best thing that I think the Ravens have in him is not only is he great with running the routes, is he's got very sure hands and the ball up in the air. I trust him to come down with it. And I don't trust Sammy to come down with it. I don't trust Hollywood to come down with it. If Hollywood's open, I think he comes down with it. But like when I see the ball up in the air and like, you know, they're right next to each other, like Hollywood and the DB, I'm like, yeah, no, he's probably not coming down with it. But Bateman, I'm like, oh yeah, just go up and get it. So.
Very true, man. I know. There go all my notifications. Everybody, if y'all retweet, if y'all retweet the guys to get into the Pro Bowl, they get 2 votes via Twitter. So if y'all on Twitter, make sure y'all retweet. You know, that counts as 2 votes today. Speaking of Pro Bowl, who from our team do you feel like is honestly, I wouldn't say worthy, but
who should make it?
Yeah, who should make it?
So I'm gonna say Lamar. Lamar should make it. I guess Patrick Ricard. Fullbacks don't really matter for the Pro Bowl, but I'll say Patrick Ricard, Mark Andrews, and I'll say Hollywood on offense. And then in terms of defensively, I think it's just Calais would be the only guy. Maybe I could see Odafe Owe as an edge rusher behind. He's behind a lot of guys, but maybe he could make it as the final edge rusher. But and then Tucker as well, obviously. Gotcha. And Devin Duvernay as the return specialist as well.
Okay. Damn, he would make it in just off of that, regardless.
Oh yeah.
So I got Tucker and Dev as a return specialist, of course. Offensive wise, I'm gonna go with Hollywood and Andrews because of stats. Because stats are looking, you know, a little stressful right now with Lamar. I can't say Lamar because of all the picks, but I can see him being a reserve, possibly, just because you know it is Pro Bowl. He does bring a lot of energy. You know, he's a big name in his league. Defensive side of the ball, I would say Calais, and I see actually Patrick Queen possibly sliding in. So, you know, being at that inside linebacker, it definitely has rejuvenated his career. Not saying that, you know, his career was, you know, up in smoke, but, you know, it definitely gave him a sense of urgency, a sense of life, and he's playing better.
Yeah, I could see Patrick Queen possibly. And Dapper asked about the TTB Twitter account. So the TTB Twitter account is TTB_Ravens. It's still, I mean, it's active. It's not at Trust the Bank though. So
yeah, it's the correct one been on there for the past couple of episodes. I don't know why this one is showing, but yeah, TTB_Ravens. We are in full effect.
Oh yes. Let's see here. Pro Bowl, Project Pat, Devin Duvernay, Lamar, Hollywood, Andrews. I think Calais has got to make it.
You got to.
I think he's been one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. Not just on the Ravens. Not a pass rusher, but Nick Moore, yeah. I literally can't speak to has Nick Moore been better. I haven't seen a bad snap from Nick Moore. So
the day we see a bad snap from a long snapper, I feel like that's when John Harbaugh will finally let someone go.
Yeah. I mean, that's all he really cares about is special teams.
Okay.
Which is why I'm surprised Sam Cook is still on the team, because I'm going to say, guys, I don't think Sam Cook is
you brought it up.
You
brought it up, and you know what? I had to watch his kicking last week, and I understand where you're going with it. I respect it. It's definitely a decline for sure.
He's just got that. He's just such a great holder on those field goals that's why they got to keep him.
Definitely that chemistry. Okay, I see y'all guys are talking about draft picks already. Who we should get?
Let's see.
I was about in this truck.
Sam Cook. Every time Lamar throws, he looks scared and throws a pick, but Huntley looks so much more comfortable passing. I don't know how much that's the case. I just think that Lamar, I think, is more hesitant to run than Huntley is. And so, because Huntley, is really cautious with the football, and he doesn't want to throw a pick, so he's more likely to take off quickly. So when Lamar throws a risky ball, it's just him. I think that's him being a better quarterback, is him understanding that, hey, sometimes he can't fit into those windows. But no, there are times where he is very visibly flustered, and he's thrown some picks this year on really poor judgments. Most notoriously the Chiefs game and the Steelers game.
Okay. All right. I like how you brought that question up. This was going to be my response. Thank you, Alex. He literally has less to lose. He's a backup quarterback. Lamar goes through all the scrutiny. He's been going through the scrutiny ever since he got picked up. So drafted. I mean, we all know the controversy. We all know what's been going on. So listen, when you don't have all that pressure, when you don't have someone always looking at you as the number one QB, you can go out there, relax, play your game a little bit, still be cautious to, win the game, but still, you don't have as much pressure as that number one QB. He has almost everybody around him talking about him. Hell, we didn't see all the haters come out just to see, Lamar Jackson to really get hurt and blame it on him running out the pocket. Why would you be waiting on a young man's downfall since he's gotten into the league for him to now be hurt and sitting on the sideline? That doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, you should be respecting everyone's game and how they play. You shouldn't be, oh yeah, we knew all that running was going to catch up with him sooner or later. That's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Let's see. Well, are there any other questions that you guys have? Throw them in. If so, we'll answer them, talk about them, that type of thing. But most likely not draft players, because yet to do any research on the draft until after the season ends. That's when I do all of this scouting and stuff. I've watched a bit of games, but not nearly enough to know the product. Yeah, Jacob, I would agree. Lamar is he's a competitor. That's really what he is.
Yeah, he's a dog. We know that. Come on now. At the end of the day, we know we got fight in him. He gonna do what he got to do. We done seen it all this season. Like I said, I'm more. If I gotta go into war with somebody, it's gonna be Lamar Jackson. He's a warrior. He knows how to will a team. He knows how to. He's battle tested. This is one of the most battle tested years in his career, in my opinion. But also put this in perspective. This is contract year. He's always been talking about how his inaccuracy of throwing, the sidearm throwing. Can he get this team to a Super Bowl? He's not a QB. He's a running back. All that stuff is playing a factor in his game, and he's playing behind a poor offensive line, and he doesn't have some of the best running backs. The only running back that's really making a difference is Devontae Freeman. Devontae Freeman just started picking up steam as the season has got deeper. So it's not like he came out the gates, running everybody over. No. So it's a lot of things to put in perspective. And on top of that, the offense. You got an offensive coordinator that, in my opinion, still doesn't open up the playbook, in order for him to succeed, and really don't use our personnel to the best of our ability so we can truly win. There's no way in hell I should see my team running the screenplay to Hollywood on 3rd and 11. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And then people are asking about Simi Fehoko. Fehoko's stuck in Dallas, where they have like 8 receivers on the roster. Like, I mean, they have Michael Gallup, really good wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, really good wide receiver, and Amari Cooper, really good wide receiver. So, he hasn't gotten an opportunity. He's stuck at the back end of the depth chart behind 3 top 20 wide receivers. So, unfortunately, he hasn't gotten the opportunity yet, but he will. He will.
Yeah, like this year's offseason, in my opinion, I feel like, that offensive line and defense has to really be taken care of. Whether, and I feel like this year EDC needs to really spend some money.
He really does. Let's see here. I think that's gonna do it. Not a lot of stuff to talk about this week. I mean, it's really just Lamar's kind of hurt, kind of questions going into it. But we like to do the streams on Wednesday, talk with all of you guys. You guys ask great questions. We talk about some good stuff. So thank you everybody for coming into the stream. Joining, asking those questions, having that good discussion, not just with us, but with each other. We love seeing you guys talk with each other about those different things and stuff like that. So thank you everybody. We'll see all of you again next time.